Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am going to be doing a video on shadow work today. What it is, different ways that you can tell that you need to do it, and then also just a kind of a general outlay or layout. Words are hard. General layout of the things that you can do to actually work through it. And then next week, I'm going to go ahead and get into specific tools like actual journal exercises, sentence stems, all that fun stuff. And then I think I'm going to do a video on, not perspectives. I'm going to do a video on how you know who's for you while you're doing the shadow work. And so you can kind of, mitigate your relationships while you do it. And I'll kind of go into that as to why you're going to want to deal with relationships in a certain way or fashion. It's really up to you. So it doesn't really matter. As far as shadow work goes, though, shadow work is a term coined by Carl Jung. He is a Swiss psychologist. For those who don't know, he was a Swiss psychologist. For those of you who don't know, and essentially shadow work, the goal is self-control over your emotions, over, outward presentation to the world around you. And then also, well, it's finding the hidden aspects, essentially. Anything positive or negative, like, I'll give you some personal examples. I'm too sensitive. I have heard that my entire life, and I just know who not to be sensitive around anymore. It's kind of those kinds of things. I'm still allowed to be sensitive. I am a sensitive person. I don't care. But I know who and what subjects to be sensitive about. As far as negative aspects, anger, controlling, way of being. I get angry, but I know how to control it. That's a big thing. It's essentially self-control is what it comes down to. So as far as what shadow work is centered around, it is emotional reactions, like those deep triggering things, and you just go into an extreme emotion, whether it's sadness, anger, whatever, right? It is searching for validation outside of yourself, going to, in any way, going to people and asking their opinion, asking what you should do, going to, certain behaviors, things like that. And then it is also your fears, things that scare you, or just things that you don't realize you're doing, like self-sabotaging things that you do. That's usually based on your fears. And so something to keep in mind, fear is false evidence appearing real. It's a thing. And so as far as what resonates, the different tools you can use to do that shadow work, you can either journal, you can consciously think about it, you can meditate. I went through hypnosis. Hypnosis is a wonderful thing to do for it. And then also you can visualize. You can do, I'll hold off. You can do certain things, and I'll give those specifics next week. Something that's really important during the shadow work process, self-forgiveness. That is one of the biggest things. You can't forgive others. You can't forgive situations that cause certain shadow triggers to happen, later on in life, until you forgive yourself. Remember that you did the best you could with the information and knowledge that you had at the time. Don't feel guilt. Don't feel shame. Love on yourself while you do your shadow work. It's so important. Big, huge point. Another huge point is healing is not linear. Something you might think that you've worked through, that you have, oh, I already went and did that. It might come back up. It's totally normal. You don't fall behind because, you got angry at something that you thought you worked out. Essentially, you're going to feel one day, healing is never really done. There's always something new to consider. But essentially, one day you're going to look at certain situations, flat tires, people treating you a certain way, and you're just going to be like, oh, okay. And that's really the goal. Like, who cares if Sue Ellen down the street is talking about me? Who cares? They've talked to me 3 times in my entire life, and they have an opinion on who I am. Who cares? That being said, people who used to be close to you will distance themselves. And sometimes that's really hard. They are either not willing to look at themselves, they're angry at you for changing for the better because you don't let the same stuff slide. This is kind of getting into that self-discovery portion that I'm going to do after the shadow work, topics are covered. But essentially, people are going to distance themselves because you've changed. People are going to say things, oh, you're not this, that, or the other. Like, personal example, I used to be a huge people pleaser. I could not give a fuck at this point. Like, I hate to say it so mean, but I don't care. You want me to do that, but that doesn't work for me. Saying yes to you, if it means saying no to myself, it's a no. Okay? Like, just things like that. And it's okay. Let those people go. We'll get in after next week's video on the specific tools. I'm going to go ahead and do a video on how you know who is not for you, who will not support you on your journey to growth and, self-actualization. So that being said, let them go. And then as far as finishing up, Shadow to Light Work is my book. It is an intentional, there's a glare, an intentional journey of healing, self-discovery, and purpose. And then here's the back, glares or thing. And then, right down there, if it'll focus, it won't focus. AskToHypnotherapy.com. My website, I offer hypnotherapy. I offer pendulum work. And then I also am a Reiki master teacher and then a crystal healer. So subconscious and the energetic things, specifically. Subconscious things will work on you energetically. So that being said, if you resonate, go ahead and click that click the subscribe button, like the video, and if you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment. If you want any specific videos, any help with working through things, leave a comment, because I guarantee you, if you have a question, if you have something that you want to work on, there are other people that also want to work on that. And I'm trying to build a community where we can all work on our healing journeys together, no shame, no guilt, where everybody just supports each other, because that's really hard to find at this point. So thank you for watching. Talk to you next week. Bye.